Bonjour les amis. This is Generator coming to you directly from the City of Light. I'm Jane Bertch, a Chicago native, Paris-based entrepreneur, author, and your partner in personal reinvention. I've spent the past 20 years living and working in Paris, and after leaving the corporate world and deciding to create something of my own, I've discovered both the beauty and the challenge of building a life shaped by curiosity, creativity, and a sprinkle of courage. In Season 2, we're going to dive deeper into the ideas that spark change. We're going to explore the small habits that shift our trajectories and the trajectories of those around us. We're going to rewrite some of that inner dialogue. We're going to lean into curiosity, and we're going to dare to reinvent ourselves at any stage of life. These are the practices that lead to true transformation. So whether you're planting a seed in your jardin secret, your secret garden, or giving voice to your creativity for the very first time, let's step into your next chapter with intention. And of course, with a touch of Parisian charm. So as we say in French, on y va, let's go. Bonjour, friends. Welcome back to Generate Her. My gosh, I feel like it's been so long since we were together, and I'm so excited to be with you. I've got so many things I want to talk about. And what I really, really want to talk about is 2026. It's here for me. And I think it's here for all of us. And I'll tell you why. Because, yes, we do have a couple of months before the official year comes. But I'm going to tell you, one of my secrets is I don't do a resolution list in 2026. What I start doing at the end of the year I'm currently in to make sure some things are going to happen for the following year is I just start them. And I love that. I get excited about it. I get excited about planning about the next year. In fact, I just did an Instagram post. You may not realize this, but I keep a paper calendar. Is that old fashioned? Maybe it is. I love writing things. I love to put stuff in my calendar. And I had to go on a bit of an expedition to find my calendar this year because where I usually went, they're not carrying it. Long story, but maybe an interesting one. We'll come back to it because I'm going to talk about relationships. And I went to the Bon Marché, which I don't usually frequent. It's left bank. You know, I'm a right bank gal. And I just had the most marvelous time picking out my 2026 calendar, and I got so excited about it. So I wanted to talk about next year because I've got some really exciting things that I want to share with you. And it all has to do with a new version of Jane. Whether or not you're ready for it, she's coming. And what do I mean by that? You've probably seen over the past year, I've been exercising something that's really important to me. It's probably become a passion. And I'm not going to say this is new because it's always been an interest of mine. And that is reinvention. I think it's such a normal process that we have the right to go through. And I talk about this all the time. And if you're hearing it for the first time, or maybe you need a reminder, we reinvent every day. I can see my hair is changing, my skin is changing, my voice is changing, my interests change. Reinvention is what we do on this earth. The seasons do it, flowers do it, trees do it. They're right now going bald. And I love that. They're spindly and thin and you can see through them. So they've reinvented themselves getting ready for winter. And somehow for all of us, it just always feels so difficult. And it's not if we have confidence and trust in ourselves. And when we reinvent, we go on a new journey. And I'm so excited about that journey. And I hope to take some of you with me. So you'll hear more about that. I've just got so many things I'm thrilled to share with you, but I thought, let me tell you what I'm taking into this next journey. And it doesn't mean starting from scratch. That I've really come to sit with and accept. This new version of me is not really new. It's just perhaps revised. I'd like to say expanded. I'd like to say enhanced. But over the past 25 years of living and working in Europe, I've gathered so much experience and I've learned some valuable skills, mostly through failure, which I like to call a data point. And most importantly, through all of it, through every role I've had, corporate, entrepreneurial, whatever you want to call it, is the power of relationships. Now, I've told you over and over, and you know it, France is a relationship economy. Living and working here has made that crystal clear. And I've spent a lot of time talking about that recently. I didn't coin it myself. There is an economist that talks a lot about how different economies work. And France is definitely a social one. Business is done with who you have trust and confidence with and how you think you can work together. So that understanding has changed the way I do business, and it's changed how I think about my work. And that's something I'm definitely taking with me into my next chapter. But in my next chapter, in the things that I've had exposure to in the past year, I want to talk about some things that I think are so important for all of us to carry forward in whatever way we see. Number one, knowing my value. If it's one thing that France has taught me, it's that most people know their worth. This is a world of experts in every domain, whether you're a mayor ouvrier de France in bread or chocolate or woodworking or ironworks. People are experts. They are the kings and queens of their craft. And we know, sometimes to our frustration, they're king and queen, consumers are not. But one thing it's taught me, something that's really powerful, you have to know your own value. You have to understand what you bring to the table and own it unapologetically. And I kind of love that. And I love that for all of us because even in times where we feel insecure or uncertain, we should know that we still bring value. And one of the things that we associate with value is the price that we put on things. And something I've learned in Europe, I want to share with you, and I'm taking this with me, and I hope somebody out there might see this as a learning lesson, as something that they consider. I can't tell you how many times I've approached someone who offers a service. Okay, they publicize that they offer this service. That service could be, I'm going to do Canva templates for you. I'm going to redo your website. I'm going to be a Notion consultant, a strategist. I've gone to them, and the first thing they've said to me is, what is your budget? Let me tell you why this does not work in France. And no one will ever say that to you that I've dealt with. Again, this is Jane's experience. First of all, money is a very delicate subject. It's something that people find embarrassing and awkward to talk about. So you try to make it as painless as possible. This is also a country, by the way, when you look in a window display, you see the prices. You don't even have to ask. The only time you get into a price negotiation is perhaps at the Poos, and then that's a different ecosystem. So we're not talking about that. We're just talking about day-to-day activities. You have to display pricing. You have to make it easy for people to understand. So when somebody comes to you for a service that you say you offer, and you ask them how much they're willing to spend, you're asking them by de facto to tell you the value of what you're going to do for them. And that's really uncomfortable for Europeans. Second, perhaps most importantly, you should know your price. Why are you asking them what their budget is? That has no concern. Your service has nothing to do with whether or not they can afford it. So in my mind, and again, something I've worked in Europe, is just be very clear and upfront with your pricing. If somebody comes to me for a service, I can tell them right away, here's my entry-level pricing. It can go up from there. Now, one of three things is going to happen. Either they're going to see it and they're going to say, well, that's ridiculous. I would never pay for that. It's too expensive. Okay, that's fine. Someone else will see it and they'll say, you know what? That's too cheap. So something's wrong here. That doesn't feel right to me. Okay, again, not a problem. But someone is going to say, you know what? This is exactly the service I want. I have trust in who's delivering it, and that price works for me. And those are your happy clients, and you've made it easy for them. So I hope that's something we think about. Because again, when we're offering a service, we're also needing to be transparent with what that service involves. The other thing I want to say, and I hate to say it, when you're not able to tell people, particularly in France and maybe other parts of Europe, very clearly the cost of your service, it feels a little charlatan-ish, if that's a word. It gives them the impression that that price is going to change not based on your service, but based on them. And that's never a good feeling because nobody ever feels like in that situation they're getting the best prices. So, my lesson here that I've learned about pricing and everything else, frankly, is to be transparent. To be transparent builds trust. To be transparent builds relationships. And that creates a mutual generosity, I think. The other thing I want to talk about is one thing I'm taking with me is protecting what's sacred in relationships. I had a French friend tell me the other day, and it kind of struck me, and I knew what she meant and the way she was expressing it. If you didn't understand what she was intending, could have sounded off. She said to me, Jane, French people don't share with strangers. And she was miffed because she had shared a special local restaurant with a friend of hers. And next thing she knows, this friend has put together a guide to Paris and included that restaurant. And that really upset her. And through that discussion, I understood what she was saying. She was saying when a person includes you in on something that is private and special and sacred to them, that's a moment of trust. That's opening up a world to you that you may not have had access to before. And that's without saying it, that is your special bond, this new place or this new experience or this new tool. And if they feel that your sole purpose in getting exposure to this is then to highlight it to the rest of the world, that bothers a lot of people I know. Right or wrong, it's a perhaps different cultural approach to sharing. And it's not really about sharing in the end, it's about including people in something that's very special. And when it's special, they want to keep it unique to you. And they hope that you want to do the same. So, my takeaway from that is make special moments with people. That's one of my big learning lessons. That's something I'm taking into the next year. And also a reminder, if I want to upset my French friends, have them share something special with me and then me go plaster it out to the rest of the world that this is my discovery. No, it's something that's sacred between the two of us. And I love that. Another thing I'm taking with me, and this, I did not just learn this in France. This is something I learned in my early days of banking. Move beyond being transactional. If you want to have sticky relationships, forget doing transactions with people. Become a trusted advisor. What do I mean? France has taught me the power of a relationship service. If you're a service provider, whether you make templates or websites or create systems, your real strength comes when you elevate yourself above doing the task. And that means you're not just delivering a product, you understand your client's needs so well that you're able to advise them on things they haven't even considered. You're invested, you care, you think deeply about what they need, not just what they requested. That's a sticky relationship. Transactional providers, people who just do templates and don't think about the needs long term of their clients, those are very easy to replace. I can move from system to system in a heartbeat. What I won't move from are people who've built trust and who think alongside what I'm trying to do. They're irreplaceable. Something to think about, something I'm taking with me into the next year is when I work with people in a special, sacred way, I want to help them. I want to understand their needs so well that they know I'm as invested in their future, not just what they need today, but their future, that we have a long-term partnership. That leads me into the pursuit of excellence. This I've really learned in France, and I want to take this forward with me. One of the things I've really come to appreciate, and again, I mentioned at the beginning, is this is a country of expertise. Excellence is valued. Whether it's woodworking or glassmaking or chocolates, all sorts of craftsmanship is revered here. This makes me want to be better, just even in the small things. To be smarter, to be more thoughtful, to be more well-read, to take real care of the people I work with and the services I provide. And that makes me think about my next business and the pursuit of excellence in trying to shape it. That's something I want to take with me. Always doing things, no matter what it is, the best way I can. And I love that about France. I feel that you see that from the market displays at the open market, how somebody will take time to arrange their oranges, to shop windows, how people take such care to have things beautifully presented. That is, to me, an example of excellence. And the last thing I want to talk about is honoring expertise, not just performing it. Experts here don't pass themselves off as experts in other areas. Because experts are so highly regarded here, people here are very sensitive to those that pass themselves off as experts or pretend to be experts. You'll rarely hear a true expert in one field pretending to be an expert in another. They'll very quickly tell you, that's not my domain. You should speak to XYZ. And to me, that's a mark of confidence. That's a real mark of confidence. So I always think very carefully about reusing people's information, about pretending that I've invented something or I've discovered this new thing. In France, it's always very important, and it says a lot about the integrity of your words and the information you have to credit those that you've gotten it from. If you don't, you're going to very quickly lose credibility. So that's something I've always tried to practice, and I want to take that with me, and it's the thoughtfulness to honor what I've learned from others and to share that and to highlight them. So those are some of the wonderful things that I've learned over the years that I want to take with me. It's confidence in my value, transparency in how I work, deep respect for relationships, commitment to excellence all the time, humility around expertise, always crediting others, not pretending that I'm an expert in areas that I'm not, and the courage to own who I am. And I guess above all, France has taught me that success isn't just about what you do. It's about how you do it. And it's about who you are while you're doing it and how you treat others along the way. So all that said, I'm very excited to head into 2026. and think about those things that I'm going to take with me on my next journey. And I'd love to know what yours are. What are some of the things you've learned and reflected upon over the year that you say in this new version of you, because 2026 is a new version of you, whether or not you admit it, it is. You'll be wholly different, I hope. What are some of the wonderful things you want to take with you? What have you learned? I'd love for you to share. So, mes amis, really looking forward to going into this next year with you. Again, I've got some exciting things from new website to new services I'm offering to launching some more Generate Her retreats, which I just absolutely love. And I've been so blessed with just the most extraordinary people who've been on them. And I can't wait to see how that develops. I also took the decision after a 2-year hiatus, I'm going to go back to coaching, one-on-one coaching in small forms with very few people because I get so invested in it. But I'm really excited about all these things to come. And I'd love to hear what's on your radar for 2026. So keep in touch with me. Don't forget, you can always find me via my website. You can find me via Instagram or just drop me an email. Until then, a bientôt, mes amis. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Generate Her. If something sparked your curiosity or took root in your imagination or helped you to see possibilities just a tad bit clearly, I'd love to hear about it. Don't forget, you can always connect with me via my website, janebertch.com, or on Instagram. My handle is my name, @Jane Bertch. And if you'd like to go deeper, don't forget to check out my newsletter, Prompts from Paris, my retreats here in the city, journal prompts, and more that you can find on my website. Until the next time, may you keep tending your jardin, listening to your inner courage, and shining brightly right where you are. À très bientôt, mes amis.